everyone. Okay. Why am I so bad at talking to the camera? Anyways, welcome to this week's video. We're switching it up and doing something a little bit different. So I'm going to be showing you guys kind of the behind the scenes of my podcast and what it takes to prepare, what recording is like, the equipment I use, how I edit, the platforms, all of that. So you get kind of an inside scoop of how I do all of that. So if you don't know, I have a podcast. It's called On the Line. It's on basically every podcast platform, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, which most people have one of those too, but they're also on other platforms, including Deezer and a bunch of other ones that I won't name. But I want to be a sports broadcaster, so I started this podcast to kind of help me gain experience with sports and to learn about sports in general. So I talk a lot about controversial sports issues as well as interviewing different high school athletes. So I've interviewed a baseball player, softball player, football player, tennis player, and a lot of other athletes. So Jesse's probably annoyed with how much I'm talking. So yeah, make sure to go listen to my podcast and share with other people as well. I just started, so yeah. So make sure you guys go follow my On the Line Instagram as well, that Josie will have linked down below, so that you can get updates when I post new episodes. And I also will ask if anyone is an athlete that would like or is interested in being interviewed. So I put a post out on my story asking if anyone was interested in being interviewed, and I had this girl from a different school reach out, which I thought was awesome, so that was really exciting. She'll be my first person I interview that does not go to my school, which is kind of cool. So she is a basketball player. I've never interviewed a basketball player before. So what I usually do is I prepare a list of questions, sample questions that I kind of use as my guide to the interview. And of course I will ask follow-up questions, and I won't always ask all the questions, but I do it, and then I'll send those questions to the person I'm interviewing and just have them look over it. So let's see, I have kind of started with some questions, but I kind of just want to finalize it and maybe add some more questions as well. So I'll kind of show you what I have so far. Alright, well, it's finally loaded, and I just prefer to do everything through Google Docs. It's just a lot easier. Right now I'm typing with one hand, so that's kind of difficult and the camera's in the way. But basketball episode. So I'll usually come up with around 20 questions. So I'll just have like some of the generic questions, like when did you start playing? What made you want to start playing? And then I'll kind of do some other more person-specific questions or sport-specific questions, like she played on a boys team, which is so awesome, so I'm going to ask her like, what did playing on a boys team teach you? And again, this is just a basic outline. So right now I have about 16 questions, so I'm just going to work on typing up some more questions. Okay, so I finished up with those 20 questions. Now I have like a good foundation of some of the things that I would like to talk about and work on. And now I'm going to get on to working on editing. Now I use a application that you can just put onto your laptop, and it's free, called Audacity. And I found that that's the easiest. So I record through Zoom, since I'm not recording with anyone in person right now, especially with COVID, and it's just a lot easier through Zoom, and the sound quality is as good as it can get, unless like you have Wi-Fi issues, which hasn't happened. Well, it has happened to me, but it doesn't happen very often. So I've been really happy with recording through Zoom and then editing through Audacity, and then I will use GarageBand if I'm recording just myself. So yeah. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is open up GarageBand, because from there I'll be able to combine my podcast intro with the interview itself. So what I'm going to do is go into GarageBand and I'm going to create a new track. So I'm going to do that real quick and then come right back. So now that I created the new track, I just put my podcast intro on my desktop. It's a little bit hard to see, but I'm just going to drag that right there, and then I'm going to shrink this as small as I can. And then right here, the very end is where I'm going to add my interview. Okay, so I combined both the intro and the interview, like I've said many times. And then I'm going to go to share, and then export song to disk. And then I'm going to title it and save it to my desktop. So right now it's converting to an MP3. And when you use Audacity, which is what I use to edit, it has to be an MP3 for it to import. Okay, so there it is on my desktop, ready for it to go into Audacity. So this is what Audacity looks like. It's just like a extension, I guess. So what I'm going to do is just, the easiest way is just to drag it in right here. Look at how fast and easy that was. So from here, I'm not going to show you exactly how I edit it, because that would take a long time, and I don't even really know this very well. I just do the very minimum editing, because what I do is I'll zoom in like this so that I can really cut out all the things I need to cut out, and that's really it. I don't do much editing at all. I try to do, you know, like the smallest amount of editing as possible. So that's always my goal. I don't really cut out much of what the other person is saying at all. It'll probably take me around an hour to completely edit it. So yeah, maybe Josie can do a little time lapse right here. So I'm back a couple days later, bright and early. That's why I look like this and my hair looks like this. But yeah, I'm back, and tonight is when I am doing the basketball interview. So what I have to do is set up a Zoom time and then send that link to the girl I'm interviewing. So I am going to do that right now. It's 6:35 right now, and I have the interview at 7. So I'm going to show you kind of what I do to prepare. So first things first, I like to print out my document with all of the questions. I'm someone who likes to have like physical paper, physical copy, instead of like flipping through tabs and things like that on my computer. So I'm just going to print that out real quick, and I'll show you the equipment I will be using. Okay, sorry for my messy background. I have to clean my room as well, but I'm going to show you real quick the equipment I use. So this is my microphone, and this is a pop filter, which kind of smooths out some of the, like, your S's, some of the harsher sounds when you're talking. I don't know a better way to explain it, but I have the Blue Snowball microphone, and yeah, I haven't noticed that it could be better, or that was bad wording, but it's been doing good for me, and it definitely makes a difference when I'm interviewing, and I can still use it through Zoom, which is nice. And then I always wear headphones, and so I just have my Beats. They're really, really old. They're like falling apart. But that's all that I use for my equipment. So now I'm going to go start just taking some notes and just kind of reread kind of like her background and just get all of my notes together, tidy up my room a little bit, and then the next clip will be you listening to us record the podcast. So you're talking about having quite a few ankle injuries. Now, how are you able to overcome those injuries and to not give up? Because I know injuries are so tough on especially athletes, because that could really put a dent in your potential improvement and can get you really down. So how are you able to overcome those injuries? Well, we won't talk about it. We won't talk about it. All right, and then what are your goals as an athlete? It could be basketball specific, or like you want to get stronger. Just what are your goals?
Okay, so Addi did not finish this video, so I'm here editing. I'm going to finish it for her. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out the description to see her podcast and her Instagram and stuff, all the good stuff. So yeah, please like, subscribe, and comment, and see you guys.